Hi everybody, Marshall, Budget Guy RC. Thought I'd come on tonight and see if anybody wanted to join in. Right now, I don't have an exact set time for doing these because right now I'm just kind of winging it. Now, once I get more into doing these, if they go well, then I may publish at a certain time, like say 7 o'clock every Tuesday or 8 o'clock every Tuesday or 9 o'clock every Tuesday night. I'm not really sure which way I'm going to go with that yet. I'm just right now kind of playing it by ear. These are just kind of out of the blue, like last Tuesday night was. I just happened to think about it that Tuesday, and I was like, hey, I want to do a chat tonight. And I just happened to call it Tuesday RC Talk. But for the people that tuned in last Tuesday, and for anybody who didn't, who tunes in tonight, we talked about more than just RC. We talked about RC last Tuesday. We talked about fishing. We talked about different type boats. Then we talked about classic cars. So we talked about a lot of different things last Tuesday. So it's kind of an open floor tonight, whatever people want to talk about, whether it's concerning RC or if it's concerning something else. If you watch my channel, you saw I just put up a video of my Red Cat Everest 10 back out there after I modded the tires. Done a lot better than it did before. I think now it's either, just a little more work with it. Maybe put a little bit faster motor in it or leave it the way it is and just go run. But I also got other RCs I got to get back into and mess around with. I haven't messed with in a while. I've got one or two that we'll see. We'll be here. Christmas will be a year that we've been here. And I've got a couple of RCs that I don't even think I've run since I've been here. One of them would be my four-wheel drive ECX Torment. The other one would be my ECX Doomsday Barrage. I haven't run either one of those since we've been living here. But I'm in hopes to get the Torment out and just bash it around a little bit here in the near future. The Barrage, I'm trying to find me a good spot where I want to take it. Now, last week, just to touch on it, last week we were discussing Arrma RC, what maybe they should come out with. They got so many basher vehicles, and now they got so many speed demons over there at Arrma. We were talking about maybe they should come out with some kind of trail truck, some kind of crawler. The one thing they don't have in their repertoire. But I have to wait and see. Not everybody wants to go down that road. Waiting to see if we get anybody else in here that wants to talk. Or wants to ask anything. I had one of my RCers tell me that I ought to spray WD-40 on those Red Cat tires. Let it sit for a couple of hours, then take it out and go climb them rocks with it. And he said it actually would help it grip a lot better. Only problem with that is a lot of times I'm not sure I'm going to take that RC until that moment, you know. Like I might get up that day and go, I think I'm going to take red out. Then I charge the battery up and I'm out the door. But you figure while that battery's charging, I can spray a little bit of WD on a rag, wipe it around the tires, you know, soften them up a little bit, and then take it out, you know, and go see what it'll do. He said he would try the WD-40 on the tires, and then if that didn't work, didn't help it anymore, then just go maybe with the faster motor, like say a 35 turn. If you've never been on here before, I mainly do RC stuff. I run a lot of what they call trail trucks that you go out in the woods and trail down in the woods, do some rock crawling. I do a little bit of bashing, which is where you take them out and you run them around in the gravel, flip them over, and, you know, maybe jump hills and stuff like that, run into stuff. Do a little bit of that with some bashers. And then I got a few other RCs that I run as well. I used to do a lot of the flying ones, but like quads and stuff, but I haven't really done them. Actually, I haven't flown a quad except for in my own living room, just playing around, having a little fun. What's up, brother? Good to see you here. Wishing I was fishing 73. I still like that hook idea you did. I had never seen that before. Somebody taking safety pins and making them into fishing hooks. I'd actually never seen that. That was pretty cool, my friend. You decide on that quad yet? Or are you still thinking about it? You're welcome. Wishing I was fishing 73. You decide on the quad yet, or are you still thinking on that one that we talked about last week? I lost him for a minute. But anyway, like I said, last week we talked about I'm saving up to get one. Oh, cool. Cool. Well, definitely you have to let me know which one you go with. Whether it be during a live stream on here or whether it be just through a message, you know, when you put up a video or when I put up a video, you letting me know that way. Yeah, I'm just on here again, seeing what people want to talk about tonight. I'm going to try to make this a Tuesday thing every Tuesday. You know, people see what they want to talk about. You know, they want to talk about fishing, cool. They want to talk about RC cars, cool. You know, they want to talk about RC boats, quads, whatever. If they want to talk about games that they like playing, that's cool too. Because last week we had it all on here. The video of me fishing with the homemade hooks will be posted on Friday. I'll have to check it out. I work Friday, so I'll either catch it Friday or either I'll catch it Saturday. Because I definitely want to know. Want to see that happen. Want to know how they work out. There we go. Decided to change my lighting. It was a little too bright coming across here. I found a cheap mini RC car on a can. Oh, yeah, I've seen those before. Never have really tried one of those. How's it working out for you? Does it work pretty good? Just ordered it yesterday. Cool. You have to let me know how that thing works. I figured it'd work real good on like a little linoleum floor or something. Tile floor. Figured it'd probably do pretty good on something like that. $6.84 with free shipping. Yeah, it's kind of hard to beat that. You don't get too much cheaper of an RC than that. Yeah. How long they say it would take on shipping? Gonna be one of those, be there in about 3 or 4 days, or is it gonna be something more like 2 or 3 weeks, or did they say? December 20. Hey, at least you'll get it before Christmas. Have an early Christmas gift for yourself. Now, your dogs don't mess with stuff like that, do they? Or are they going to run over there and try to pick it up and eat it while you're trying to run it across the floor? Or are you planning on putting them out in the back? We'll crush it. Yeah. It's so tiny. I think it was about that. They're about like that. And your 2 dogs, they get a hold of it. That thing's history. I figure you're going to probably put them out in their pen for a little while, let them play outside long enough for you to run it around and check it out, have a little fun with it, then bring the dogs back in. Now, see, my dogs, it wouldn't matter. I could have that in the house with them because they're so small. I mean, one dog's like, yay, about this big, and the other dog's about this big, about that long. I got 2 small dogs, so unless they picked it up and actually started chewing on it, I'm good. And mine generally want to run away from it while they're barking at it, so I don't have to worry about it as much. Especially one of them, man. I start a quad up in the house. As soon as that thing goes to take off, he hightails it into another room. He don't come back until I put it away. Now, the female, she'll back up about 3 or 4 feet away from it and just bark at it. I put a bid on an RC boat. Cool. That definitely come in handy where you're located. I mean, come on. As close as you are to that lake right there, that would be a little fun thing for you to play around with when you're off. Well, that is when you're not fishing. Or you could actually, if you get bored and you're not getting any bites, you could have that with you in the back of your vehicle. Go grab it real quick, put it out in the water and run it a little bit if the fish ain't biting. Just for safety purposes, always check your battery that goes to the boat if you get one, and always check your batteries in your controller. Like, check it before you go down anywhere, because you don't want to get out there and be running the boat and think you got 5-6 minutes of run time, and you get out there and 3 minutes into it, your controller dies, and there's your boat out 50-60 feet out in the lake, and you got no way of getting it right at that moment. I thought about it. If I do another boat, I thought about taking it out when I'm out sometime on the kayak. That way, if I'm out there on the kayak, I'm filming the boat running, and then if the battery dies, all I got to do is paddle over to it, pick the boat up, lay it in the kayak, and go back to the bank. I might do something like that next year. Next spring or next summer, I may go with they get me a different RC boat, maybe about like this, something about like that. Run it around on the lake a little bit, take video of it, put it back up in the kayak. Yeah. That way I ain't got to worry about losing it. I know that one I've got. It's the older model with the like AM, FM, big old long antenna on it. And it does pretty good if you're in the area that doesn't have a lot of homes nearby. Because it's got that old FM like AM like antenna on it. But if you get to a neighborhood where there's a lot of houses around, a lot of stuff, and people got a lot of stuff on, and you turn that thing on, it can interfere with the radio because it's not 2.4 gigahertz, and it could send your boat out left when you're trying to go right and bring it back in. So I haven't really put it in the water since I moved here because I'm kind of worried about that. So if I put it back in the water, I think I'll do it when I've got my kayak out, so that way I don't got to worry about losing it. Either that, or I'm going to get rid of it and go with a little bit smaller one that's got a little bit more run time that I can have fun with. But I haven't decided yet. It's still up in the air. So is the one you put a bid on, is it more of like is it like a speed boat, or is it just, laid back, regular type boat, or you don't know? Oh, you want one of them bait boats. That's what you want. The ones they're selling. Oh, they got them on like eBay, Amazon, and other sites. Got kind of a little tray at the very back of the boat. You put bait in it for the fish. You take the boat out, and it can like dump the bait. Is that the one you're talking about? And it dumps the bait out there and attracts the fish into your area, so you get a better shot at catching them. I've seen guys with those type of boats. They call bait boats. And then I've seen guys that have a rig where they got line coming off the back of the boat with a hook and bait on it, and they use the boat to catch fish. Yeah, but cheaper version. I saw a guy, one guy, he's got one that he's got a hook with about 4 foot of line coming off the back of the boat, maybe 5 foot. He's got a hook and everything on there. And he puts his bait on there, and he runs the boat out, and he stops and lets it sink down about 4 feet deep. Then when he gets a hit, he hits the controller and brings it on in that way. That's how he's doing. He's actually fishing with a remote control boat. He baits up the back of it and brings it on in with the fish when he gets one. Like he said, though, you got to have a strong motor, or you got to go for the smaller fish. Think about it. You get a big old catfish, snatch it onto the back of one of them boats, and it ain't got a lot of power, and you got the hook, and the catfish just takes your boat away with it. But yeah, I know what you're talking about, the different bait boats. Yeah, I'd have to go with a cheaper bait boat myself. Yeah. But I want one also just to play around with in the water. That way, when I'm not doing my trolling videos, my local monster would hit it. Yeah. There was one they came out with, and it was for fishing exclusively. And this thing, they showed actual bass fishermen and stuff previewing this thing. I forgot the name of it. But the bass fishermen, they went out and they hooked up everything, and they sent the boat out, and they were catching like some brim and some crappie and everything, and they were bringing them in with it. And the guy was talking about, this is pretty cool. This is pretty fun. And he was like, I definitely see it It's something fun for people to play around with, especially smaller fish. He's like, but what if you catch one of them slabs or you catch one of them lunker bass or something like that? I don't think this boat's got the power to bring it in. And most of your cheaper ones don't. I mean, you hook onto a 12-pound cat. That cat's taking that boat the other way or under. You know. So yeah, you'd have to put it out there and maybe pull it up in some shallow area, drop it down about 4 feet deep, do some brim or crappie fishing with it, and hope that the boat's got enough oomph to bring the fish in. Or if you're fishing out of a kayak, as long as it don't go under, you can still go after it and get it. But yeah, all that's a little chancy with the actual fish trying to hit line hooked to the back of a boat. I do like the bait boat, especially if you can get a cheaper version. You run that out and you put out a little bit of bait, put out a little bit, where you want it at. Bring the boat back in, and then you throw out, wait and see what you do, Now, one of my little tricks I used to do years ago, and this was for catfish. I'd go out to fish for catfish, and I'd have an old container of chicken livers that I'd used the time before or whatever, and I'd buy a new container to take out there to fish with, and I'd take that old container of chicken livers with me. I'd poke like 4 or 5 holes in the container. Then I'd poke a hole going up through the lid and everything. Tie me some fishing line on there. Drop it down in the water a couple feet hanging from the bank. And then I'd tie it right there on the pier and have it hanging off. And I'd throw it out 3 or 4 feet. That way it would start drawing in fish closer to my area. And then I'd just chunk my chicken livers out, anywhere between 20 feet and however far I wanted to throw them and see if anything was hitting. Of course, I've done that with canned corn. Put it in a plastic container, poke a couple holes in it, drop it down in the water, let them smell it, brings them in, fill up the hook with corn, chunk it out there about 10, 15 feet from the bank, see if you can get some hits on it. And I have caught fish on corn. I have definitely caught fish on chicken livers. But that was my only way of baiting them back then. Is I just put some kind of container right near the, within 5 or 6 feet from the pier. I'd have it tied to the pier so I could bring it back in. Use strawberry corn. I never tried that. Like I said, I mainly used regular corn and I mainly used chicken livers. Because, you poke a few holes in old chicken livers and they start stinking. Then you got that blood in there and you tie that onto a pier, toss it out a little ways. You know it's going to draw something. Generally, you're going to draw catfish if they're in that area. You're going to draw some toward you. I used to do that a lot. And that way you can just reach down there, pull the fishing line up, get it up out of the water, undo it, toss it in the trash, when you're done. Now, what do you normally use now when you're catfishing? You do shiners or shad, or what are you using when you catfish now? Live creek chubs. Oh, okay. I never used them. I have used shad. I've used them a lot. 5 to 9 inches long. I used shad a lot. We used to go down to my girlfriend's family lived on the lake. They had a pier and everything. We'd go down there and I'd catfish all night. And me and a friend of mine, we were down there fishing, and we noticed the shad were running that real like crazy that night. And yeah, that's what we did. We took a net, scooped down, and caught a bunch of shad for free. And I'd take the shad and hook them on the hook, chunk them out there. And I caught a big old shad one time. And so I just cut it in half, put half of it on one time, half of it on another time, and got some major cats that way, you know. But we got those shad, and we didn't catch any big fish worth keeping. Come daybreak, I'd pack up, head down to what they call the spillway. And it was a dam and everything. And I'd take them shad and chunk them out there for stripers and stuff like that. Before I messed this shoulder up, I used to striper fish all the time. Loved it. Me and a friend of mine went down to what they call a spillway. This old place called Buzzard's Roost. We went there a lot and striper fished. And then we'd get in his truck other times and we'd plan out and we'd go up to Russell Dam and we'd striper fish there. At least that was until I tore this shoulder out. After I tore that out, it never recovered right. And gave up the striper. Now, you know, catfish, bass, brim, crappie. That's about all I'm going to do. I haven't done any catfishing. Like I said, we've been here almost a year. Haven't done any catfishing since I've been here. I used to go there and throw top water for striper. Yeah, I used to get the bigger fluke bodies and get the big jig heads. I get the red jig head and get like the white fluke bodies and different fluke bodies and go throw it for striper. Yeah. Then I had other plugs. Had this white plug, had 3 sets of hooks, and at the back had a propeller. That thing, man, they would murder it. Zara spook. Yep, I had some luck. Certain times, like I said, go out there and you just catching them back to back. You know, as soon as you can take one up, put it away, you can catch another one. Other times you can go out there and be out there 3 or 4 hours. You're lucky if you get one hit. But, you know, that comes along with the fishing. I think that was one of the things I always liked about catfishing. Because I'd go out at night. That's when I did it. I'd get out there about 6 p.m. right as it's getting dark. Throw out on bottom. I'd put one rod and reel out probably, I'd say 20, 30 feet from the bank. This one would have, smaller line, smaller rod and reel. Set it up over here, the rod holder, lean it up, let it settle to the bottom, tighten the line up. Put me one of those like little bells on the rod so I could hear it tink, tink, tink when they hit it. And then I'd grab what I called my big boy for catfishing, which was a 7-foot rod. Had a big round Shimano reel on it. Had spider wire on it. And I'd chunk that one out with a big old sinker on there, at least an ounce or more. Chunk that thing way out there, seriously, probably about 50 yards, maybe even more, and just let it settle to the bottom. Tighten that one up in the rod holder. Put a little bail on it, and then just lean back in the chair and wait, See the line start getting bumped in slack, tighten them up a little bit. They bump it another time, then maybe pick it up. Go ahead and start holding it, slowly tighten the line up. See if they're still there nibbling on it. See if they'll give it a quick tug and then. But yeah, pretty much every time I went catfishing, I went with 2 rods. You know, one in closer, one out deeper. Sometimes I did it so I could use 2 different baits. Like say if I had shad on one or a piece of herring on one, then I might have chicken livers or night crawlers on the other. But like I said, I haven't really talked to anybody up here yet to see what they mainly hit here. I'm going to try shooting a catfish video with store baits, like dip baits and dough baits. Oh, some of them stink baits that you can get like at Wally World or Walmart. Yeah, I've had some of them in the tackle box. Forget and leave them in the tackle box. A little bit of sun get to them. You open that bag to pull one out and put it on the hook. It's like, oh my. It's almost like running over a skunk. It was almost that bad. You open that bag after that thing's done been in the heat for a while. You're like, oh my God, I shouldn't have left that in my tackle box. Because now you got to sit there and leave the tackle box open. Yeah, you got to leave the tackle box open for a while. Let that air out a little bit. Oh, yeah, I have had some luck with some of them. But a lot of them I found, they get so hard when you first go to put them on there, they want to crumble. You know, so I tried different things to work around that. I would get tricky about it, and I would just take like a treble hook, push one on this hook, one on that one, and then just lightly chunk them out there. What's up, bud? Shin RC stepped in for a minute. Yeah, we're talking fishing right now. Wishing I was fishing says he's fixing to do some of them. Fixing to do some of those dip baits and dough baits soon. Oh, you got the Lifetime Daylight 80 I was talking about. Was I right? Were they running about 150 to 170 somewhere along there? Because I know they were a good price the last time I saw them. And it's only 8.5 foot? What you think of it? You think it's going to be light enough for you? Wishing I was fishing 73. Guy had it here new. It had a crack in the side seam, like 3 inches. Guy had it here new. It had a crack in the side seam, like 3 inches. So it was supposedly new, and it had a 3-inch crack in it. That's odd. Those are rated really good. Have you decided how you're going to take care of it? I fixed it with a Home Depot bucket. How they melted on it, and it's like new now. Kind of like taking a model car when the glue ain't wanting to hold apart, and you would take a piece of the plastic that the parts came on, and you would light it up with a cigarette lighter, let a couple drops drop on it, and then you would put your wheel back on or something. Search on YouTube, plastic wheel. Well, how much does it weigh, or do you know? How much does that one weigh? Wishing I was fishing 73. She and RC said he got him a lifetime daylight 80. That's what they call it. It's the 8-footer. He said it came with a 3-inch crack on the side seam, but he's already fixed it. So how much does it weigh? How much did that one end up weighing? Was it like 45, 47 pounds? So he's going to love it. Shin RC wishing I was fishing said you're going to love that. You got it for $65. I hear you. Yeah. If you were able to fix it and you didn't pay for $65, you ought to be head over heels on it. And it's only 38 pounds. Yeah. And to tell you honestly, Shin, you can go online. You can go online and look. And they'll show you the best way to just set it in the edge of the water. Like I did. Like, here's the edge of the water. I would just set the kayak this way, and then I would just walk out there to it, and then just turn around, and then just put my butt down into it. Then I would bring a leg over into it. Then I brought the other leg over into it. Then I took my paddle and pushed off from where I was at. But I made it shallow enough that if it tried to tip over, I'd end up on my butt and I wouldn't even be completely underwater my first time. Do that until you get used to the feeling of how it feels. Hey, man, no problem. I'm always willing to help a friend when they're trying something out they haven't tried. And that's just the way I did it. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't swim that good. I swim a little bit. Maybe enough to save my own life. Maybe. But I'm not a good swimmer. That's why when people see me out there with my kayak, I've got the life vest on, just in case. Because I know between the life vest and between me grabbing a hold of that kayak and putting my arm across it, even if I can't get back up in it, between the life vest and the kayak, I can get myself back to the bank. I already put a crate in the back with 2 custom rod holders I made from PVC pipe. Cool. I bought like a $5, $6 crate at Walmart, and then I just bought 2 actual rod holders and took some zip ties, zip tied them to the crate, and then I used the bungee straps that came on the back of mine, and I strapped them around the crate to hold it in place. That's how mine's on there. But like I said, if I decide to start hauling it on my wagon, I would, yeah, that's what I did also. Cool. Now, if I decide to start hauling on the wagon, I'd have to pull that crate off. Because that just, if I flipped it upside down, it wouldn't work on there. And if I turned it upside right, it wouldn't sit on the car as good. When you flip them upside down, they sit up on the car better. And that gives you that better aerodynamics, So, yeah, I would have to take that crate off if I'm going to haul it on the back of my wagon. But as long as I'm hauling it in my truck, I don't have to worry about taking the crate off. But once I get that cleat on there, yeah, yours has 2 built-in rod holders. Yep. Well, I found a couple of those rod holders like what they would come with. I found one that I'm going to mount on there myself, a rod holder, and then I'm going to get the ones that go down into the boat like what you're talking about, and the rods just sit up out of it like that. I'm thinking about buying 2 of those, hopefully before next spring gets here. Get 2 of those, cut out my holes in the back, drop them down in there, and then put my screws in. to hold them, and of course seal up around them so no water can get in there. I may do that. So that way if I take the crate off, because I want to haul it on the back of the wagon some, I can take that crate off. I still got those 2 rod holders. And then I'll have the rod holder over here that I can undo and just take off long enough to put it up on the car. I want a live well built in mine. Yep. I've got the bungees that are on the boat, and then I've got a couple of bungees helping hold it there. Mine's on good, but like I said, I flipped my boat upside down when I put it up on the car roof, so that would make me have to take the crate off if I wanted to haul it on my wagon. But unless I decide I'm going to haul it on the wagon, I can leave that crate there. But I'm still thinking about doing the rod holders that go flush into the behind the seat. That way they're just right here and they're mounted there, and you can just set the rods in there, pull the rods up out, and still flip your boat over and not have to worry about the crate being back there. And I can just use that bungee setup that's back there just to hold my tackle box, you know. But yeah, a live well would be cool, especially a built-in live well. I ordered one of those snap paddle holders so you can snap it on the boat. Can I offer some advice? Is that to me or is that to Shin RC on his boat? You can definitely offer it to me if you want to. And I'm pretty sure Shin RC, I'm pretty sure he takes advice too. See? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Get a cushion for your seat would be the best thing you buy for your kite. Most definitely. Well, I bought the actual stadium seat like you use when you go to a football game and you set it up on the stadium bleachers. I bought one of them. And I put that on mine. Yep. Mine was about 25 or 35 bucks, somewhere in that range. I put that on mine. Now, the only thing that does is it raised my center of gravity up by about 2 to 3 inches. The only problem with that is it does make it a little more, because you raise your weight up that 2 or 3 inches, it gives you a little bit more of this. Whereas if you just put a cushion down in the butt area and stay down low where you bought it as, and just put a cushion there, you still get the good. I got the same thing. I thought about buying one of those, what do they call it? Yak cushions. They just call them a yak cushion. And they got like the Velcro or the suction things on the bottom of them. True. Because mine didn't have any cushion for the butt. It had a plastic back, but nothing for the butt. So you were just sitting down in the kayak on the hard plastic. And I was out there, I'm fishing, and I'm paddling along, and I'm having fun. And about an hour and 45 minutes into it, I noticed I started doing this, shifting my body, trying to reposition myself, because I'm like, man, this getting a little uncomfortable. And by the time that 2-hour mark hit, I was like, man, no, I got to do something about this. Well, I discussed it with my girlfriend, and at the time, I was telling her about these, seats that you get for taking to a stadium seats that you do the bleacher don't want to tip over in that scum pond. True, you don't really want to flip over out in the middle of a pond that's full of scum. Yeah, you come up out of there like this, looking like the creature from the Black Lagoon or Swamp Thing. Yeah. But yeah, we got to talking about those bleacher seats. I was like, wait a minute, one of those stadium seats, that'll give me a lot of cushion. And I love it as far as comfort goes. Yeah, if you come out, yeah. But as far as comfort goes, that stadium seat, oh, man, it's night and day. You sit down in the kayak and it's just like, oh, I was out there for 4 hours and I didn't have a complaint with the stadium seat after being out there for 4 hours. But the only thing I had complaint was I noticed when I turned to grab a rod from behind me or went to throw out, I noticed the kayak did this a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit more. So you got to be a little more cautious every time you raise up that, unless you do the stability. Yeah, the seat's great, man. I just got mine strapped in with bungees and stuff like that. I took the original seat, the back part, I took the strap to it and wrapped it around that seat and hooked it back in place like it was made for it. And then I took a couple of bungees and wrapped around the leg and then strapped it back there to my crate. So that way the seat's not coming up out of there. I think I got the 20, to be honest. I think I actually got the 20-inch seat. But like I said, that thing, oh man, the comfort level is good. It just gives you a little, you just got to, But if you're going to put those stabilizers, if you're going to put those, it don't matter that seat's up a little bit higher. Think about it. You don't even got to worry about it. You put a stabilizer here and here, and every time it goes to rock a little bit, it's got something there. The only thing about adding stabilizers is if you hauling that thing on a vehicle or something, or in a vehicle, more stuff you got to take undone before you haul it. Luckily, if I do one, it could sit in the back of a truck. I kind of wish I had a van right now. This kayak is my winter project. I don't know if I can get it out to use it this year because it's cold. Hey, you got the perfect time, though, to do your upgrades and to get everything ready. You could launch that thing with everything you want on it for next spring. The first week of spring, you could be like, okay, kayak's going out there. But now you might want to take just one of your days. I'm not talking about doing upgrades to it. You might just want to take one of your days where it's the warmest it is and just go sit it out in the shallow part of the water and just practice going over into it. Like I said, sit down, pull your feet into it, push off from the bank just to see how sturdy it is, and then just turn around and come right back to the bank, turn, hop out of it, just to get yourself familiar to that before you start doing your mods, You're going to shoot a pickerel video. Oh, cool. Shin ought to definitely like that one. Shin RC, you hear that? Wishing I was fishing 73. He's going to shoot his first real pickerel video out of his kayak next month. He's got a sweet one. He's got an actual fishing kayak that was set up, straight from the store to be able to fish out of. Whereas we went and bought more regular kayaks and we're turning them into fishing kayaks. But Steve, you got one of those deals you can't hardly pass up. To get that thing for under $100, You fish out of your kayak all year. I know, but most of the videos that I see you uploading are from the under the bridge or on the pier. I haven't seen you actually upload a video from your kayak much. That's why I asked you that one time. I came on your video and said, when you going to do a kayak video? The stabilizer system I want to get has an aluminum channel type metal section that you screw across the boat. And then the stabilizers slide in it and screw down with 2 wing nuts in it, locks it in the track. You have to send me a link to that one day. Awesome pickerel, strong, aggressive beauties. Fun as hell to catch. Yeah, because I'd like to see the one you're talking about getting for your stabilizer system. Because I thought about either buying one or doing a homemade version for mine down the road. That way, during the main part of summer, if I'm out there on that lake, I don't feel bothered when it's busy out there. If I'm on the lake in the fall, if I'm on the lake in the spring, I don't feel bothered because not that many boats are coming up in there where I'm at, so it's not really bothering me. I don't feel the rockiness too much. But what I'm worried about is that main part of the summer, and I get out there and you get them fools that come up in there 30, 40 mile an hour whipping past you in their speed boats when they're coming up into the slow area and making that little kayak go. Oh, so you use a 25-pound fluoro leader so they don't bite through your line. It's a good tip. Yeah, lucky by me, no motor boats in my pond. Yeah, man, that's the cool thing. If you can find like a private lake or pond that you're going to that they don't allow motorboats in, or say they don't allow boats with big motors. Say they only allow like a trolling motor, or they only allow like up to a 9 horsepower. Well, 9 horsepower is not really going to get out there and put out so much of a wake that you got to worry about it when you're over there in that little kayak. But if you out on a big lake like what I'm on, and they come whipping up in there right there at me, he uses a 20-pound braid, is what he said he uses, Shin. You're going to see me slaying pickerels in my upcoming video. Be ready. All right, I'll have to check that out. Say you used a 20-pound braid and the ones you've been catching cut through it like butter. Wow. You know, I'm going to admit it. I've never fished for pickerel. I really haven't been where they're, like popular at and fished in areas where you really, catch pickerel. Like I said, my main thing has been bass, brim, crappie, catfish. They like weeded ponds like crazy. Oh, I haven't found any ponds since I moved here. Not even one. Haven't found a pond one since I moved here. Like I said, I found this lake right here. Like where I live at, I'm right off a part of the lake. And then right down the road, there's another entrance to the lake. And then there's another entrance on down the road from that. They can be in rivers and most bodies of water also. Okay. I may have to go online and Google and check and see if there's any rivers nearby that I might could go try out. Now, I'm going to ask you two guys, since y'all both on here. I caught a big pickerel last month, 31 inches long. Nice. Now I'm going to ask you two guys, since you're both on here. What about salmon? Have either one of you ever fished for salmon or caught salmon? I've never fished for it, but I've always wanted to give it a try. We were supposed to go camping one year at a place that had a river that ran right behind it, and it had, it had salmon in it, but money situation got messed up, and we had to change our place we were going. We had to go to a cheaper campground because of the money situation, so we wasn't able to go to the one that had the salmon. I mean, they had a river that they stocked like monthly with salmon. No, I wish I would do nothing else. Yeah, man, I've always wanted to go try to fish for salmon. I've never fished with a fly rod, and I've never fished for salmon. And I at least wanted to try it one time. There's things on this earth you want to try at least one time before you die. And that was one of those things. And we were going to go camping at this place up in North Carolina. And we were set to go there. We were loving it. And then the car broke down. And it took part of my money getting it fixed for work. So that when we did get ready to go camping, we had to pick a different campground. Don't get me wrong, we still had a blast. We went for a whole week. But we didn't get to go where we originally wanted to go. And I didn't get to do any salmon fishing. Stabilizer thing, got to search eBay, lightweight PVC, inflatable outrigger kayak. I have a pet pickerel in my fish tank. It was 4 inches when I caught it. 12 inches now. So Shin RC says he's never did that type of fishing, so you've never fished salmon. I'll tell you what though, man. I did get the pleasure of eating it one time. A buddy of mine had went fishing with some of his family, and they went to a river and caught a bunch of salmon, and they filleted it up, and he brought me a fillet to let me just try it. Oh man, it was good. And that made me just want to go try fishing for salmon that much more. Pet, awesome. You have any videos of it? Shin RC's asking, wishing I was fishing 73. Have you got any videos of your pet pickerel that started out as 4 inches when you caught it and now he's 12? Yes, several. Got a video of me catching it and several feeding videos. Uh-oh, Shin. Looks like you got something to go check out. You got to go over there and jump on wishing I was fishing 73 and check out the pickerel. Good thing about the stabilizer is you inflate it. The two stabilizer floats packs up easy. I'm definitely going to search that on eBay. Shin RC says he's got to go check it out for sure. So wishing I was fishing 73, he plans on checking out those videos about that pickerel. Now what I want to do is I want to get me I'm going to step away for 1 second. Go pick up. Well, no, it ain't. It's over here. It's in the drawer right down here below me. I had just moved it. Now, this is the camera I had been using when I was fishing on my kayak. It is a Firefly 6S. Right there was supposed to be a black button in the middle of that blue ring where that gold is, that brass looking color. There was supposed to be a black button there for turning it on and doing everything with it. Well, that button fell off, but you could still press in the middle of that circle and hit that brass button and turn it on. But where I bought this at, they no longer sell this model, the Firefly 6S, so you can't buy new batteries for it. The battery shot only lasts about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on what frame rate you got it setting on, what video setting. As you see, I got it on a hat mount right now, so I can just do it like this when I'm fishing. So I use this when I'm out there fishing, when I'm out there kayaking, and everything like that. And I use it in some of my RC videos. But as you can see, this thing is not waterproof. There's no waterproof casing. So if I accidentally flip this thing over into the water, it's ruined. I haven't been able to find any new batteries for it, so I can't buy a new battery for it to keep it working longer. And if I flip it over in the water, it's ruined. So what I really want to get me is like a GoPro Hero 5 or a GoPro Hero 6. One of those. So that way it's at least waterproof all the way down to 33 feet. You know, that's what I want to do. But right now, the reason I'm using this without the protective case is so everybody can hear me when I'm shooting a video out on the water and everything. And if it does get wet and ruin it, at least I've already used it for over 3 years. So it's not like I'm ruining a brand new camera. But I wish, this one has a gyro stabilizer. I wish this thing was waterproof without a case. That would just make it the perfect camera. I have the GoPro Hero 5 Black. Yeah, I know. I use the USB-C cable in mine when fishing. If I fall in, my GoPro will die also. Yeah, see. That's why I've looked at a couple of these rugged type cameras that they sell. I've looked at a couple of those refurbished models. Like the one that's just got the heavy, thick case, the waterproof to like 50 feet underwater, stuff like that. But they're not really good for mounting on a, hat mount or anything. They're more for mounting on the actual boat. You'd have to mount it on the boat and turn it facing you, or mount it on the boat and turn it facing out towards the water because they're so big and bulky. I mean, the camera is like this long, about that tall, and probably that thick. But it's one of those tough cameras that you can drop like 8 feet up and it'll hit the ground and won't break it. It won't freeze and all that. It's waterproof down to like 50 or 100 feet. I use a power bank for like $10 that you can record video for hours straight. I use a chest mount. I don't have a chest mount. I've got the original GoPro, the head mount, and then I bought this one, just a cheap hat mount. And unless I'm really sweating, I'm not even going to hit that because I'm out there and I'm just grabbing the rod and I'm throwing out. And then when I'm changing stuff, I'm looking down and you can actually see me trying to put something on the hook, with this on the hat. But I could do the old buy a hat, drill a hole through it, and just put a screw set through it, and then use like a tripod mount, and just put me a bracket on there that has a screw hole, and then just have it where the camera sits dead on the hat, to do away with all this. The clip. But I understand what you're saying. The battery thing would work good. That would work good. But if I've got it mounted to my head like this and I'm out there fishing, you got to run a cable with the battery pack. Where is it going to really be? I understand with you, it's right here. You can lay it on your lap basically because you got it on your chest. But with me, if it's here, that battery pack, there's not a whole lot of places I can put it. I picked up a cheap, like $24 kit with a case on Amazon. Gave you every mount you can think of and a selfie stick, chest mounts and all. Somebody new popping in. Rich Holman. Hello, guys. Happy Tuesday. Hey, Rich. How you doing? He's telling Shin, hey. Long, flexible USB-C cable. Plug it in. Put it right in your pocket. That's what I do. I may have to look into that, because that way I can have this until I get the GoPro mounts. I can take a long cable, wear a shirt with a pocket, and then just put the battery pack right here and have the long cable come up to it. Wishing I was fishing said, hello, Rich. I can get a list of stuff together for you. I'd appreciate that, man. Rich says, hello, wishing I was fishing 73. I'd appreciate that, though, Shin. But I still do want to get me like at least a GoPro 5 down the road. I want it to do like also when I'm doing RC video. If I wanted to set the camera under the edge of the water and show you the tires as the crawler comes by, I could do that easy with a GoPro Hero 5 or Hero 6, waterproof down to 33 feet, something like that. Whereas with this one here, you got to put it in the case, and then you don't have audio. But I thought about getting one of those, what is it, the stylus type cameras and stuff like that. I think I have your cam, you're showing still. It's the Firefly 6S. That's one it is. Firefly 6S. Doesn't have the screen on the back or anything. It works, but I broke the LCD screen, and you can't switch settings now. Yep. I really enjoyed these cameras. I dropped it one day out of its case. You wouldn't know when it was in its protective case. It flew a mile off my Tamiya Street Rover. Mine was, I had it in its protective case, never dropped it, anything. I took it out one day and was messing around with it and was outside, and it dropped and it landed awkward and hit right on that button. And when I picked it up, the plastic piece of the button was just laying on the ground. But then I pressed in real hard with my finger and everything still worked. So I was like, okay. Except when you have it in the waterproof case without that plastic button, now your outer button doesn't make contact. So I have to take it out of the case, press that button, and then put it back in the waterproof case. So that's why I just quit putting it in the waterproof case. It was a pain in the butt to have to take it out, push the button, put it back in. They do fall out. I think I glued mine back on. Yeah. Like I said, I used that camera for like over 3 years. I can't complain for what I paid for it and the service I got out of it. What setting did yours break on? I got mine on, what is it, 1080 60? I think that's what I've got mine set on. And that's what I shoot mine on. Yep, same as my setting. But you know, Banggood, GearBest, none of those sites that used to sell that camera. Yep, with the stabilizer, the gyro set to on. Yep, I had the stabilizer on mine. And it works pretty good. Because people see my videos where I'm on that kayak, and that thing works pretty darn good for being a cheaper stabilized camera. Say Amazon sells the batteries for the 6S? Wow, they must be the only one, because I tried eBay, never found them at the time I looked. And I went on GearBest and Banggood and couldn't find them. But I've been looking at some of them other waterproof cameras. If I decided I want to mount one on the boat itself, I will see what mine are called for you. Appreciate it. Because I know the 6S, the 7S, the 8S, they changed the batteries for the newer models. I was just going to go online and order the battery that goes in the 8S, Firefly 8S. But I got to looking at them, and it wasn't the same battery, and the place didn't look like the plugs were in the exact same spot. So I may have to get with you on that. It's possible. It might. Of course, what I probably could do is probably take something round off of something else, a piece of plastic, glue it on that front, and give it enough to make it contact that outer case. Let me go see what I have. Hold on a bit, okay? All right. I plan on being here. Rich popped on and said, hey to everybody. And then he went silent or either left. Wishing I was fishing. He went silent on me for a minute. Right now we're talking about cameras and stuff. If you are looking for a new camera, check out the Akaso. Yeah, I like the line of Akaso. And I like the fact that they have gyro stabilization on them, you know, like the Firefly 6S has. But that's the only problem, the case. I want to see somebody step up to bat and come out with a waterproof one that's waterproof, say down to 30 feet or 33 feet, that doesn't need a case like GoPro did. And not many have done that yet. Not in an action cam form. Now you go over to Coolpix. You can go over and get a Nikon Coolpix. They've got like, I think 3 or 4 different ones. GoPro is still the only one who does it right. Yeah. I mean, they do make pretty much the best action camera right now. But I guess that's why they're so pricey. But now you can get if you want to put something big like this on your boat or wherever. Now, if you're just filming from a tripod, or if you got it mounted to the boat, then I guess it doesn't really matter what the size it is. It ain't got to be a little action cam. But if you want something that can go anywhere and everywhere, the action cam's the best for that part. I've looked at a couple of the Coolpix by Nikon. They're about this big, and they're the waterproof. They're like, you can drop them from like 7-foot drop. They don't break. You know, they're not supposed to fog up. They're supposed to be waterproof and everything like that. And one of them I looked at even said it had gyro stabilization on it. And I'm like, well, that might be the way to go if I'm going to put me an actual mount on my kayak and just have it, like say, put a mount out at the front of the boat so that way I can have shots of it facing out to the water, and then put another mount of it turned towards me, you know, I could use something like that. And I could always put it on the tripod, set it down in the water. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about picking some no-name, off-the-wall thing I've never heard of and just going, okay, they say it's waterproof. It's got to be true. They saying it's stabilized. It's got to be true. You know, if you get a Nikon, you're generally going to get a good camera. And if they say it's waterproof, down to 30 feet or 33 or 50 feet, generally in that range somewhere, you're good. And I don't plan on ever being further down than, say, 30 or 40 feet deep, you know, in water anyway. I just want something that I can put on my boat. And if I flip over and I flip the boat back over 30 minutes later, the camera's not ruined. Or if I fall out of the boat, it ain't falling off my head into the lake and it's ruined. Beyond that, you're in scuba territory. Yep. I mean, if I was just going to use it for my kayak, I'd probably just get a Nikon Coolpix, waterproof one, and go. I had the camera and rubber case and the original battery and rubber lens cap. I do think you can get these batteries because they fit other model cameras also. If I'm that deep, I've got other problems. True. That's why I just want something that's, you know, I mean, 10, 15, 20 feet deep. If I'm going any deeper than that, hey, the camera doesn't deserve to survive. But yeah, I thought about going with a Nikon Coolpix. Yeah, it's a big, bulky camera, but you can put you a mount. Worry about a cam when you're drowning, laughing out loud. Hey, you know that's going to be somebody's thought in that is, oh man, I'm drowning. And they start getting themselves to the top and then they go, oh crap, my camera, I got to save it. Somebody's going to go there. He saved my camera, yeah. Say the Coolpix is no good. You had one that sounds awful. Now, this one's not waterproof. This one's not gyro stabilized or any of that crap. This is just the one I put on a tripod and shoot a lot of crawler videos with and stuff. Yeah. I love this one. I mean, 35x zoom, 4K. I mean, this is my sweet one right here. And I bought it for this reason. That way I could be out there with it on the tripod, have it sitting like this on the tripod, and then I could tilt that up so I could just look down at it while I'm crawling. My Panasonic waterproof cam sounded way better. Yeah, a lot of cameras are that way. It's a trade-off. You get a waterproof one, they got sound that's like all muffled and crackly and everything. And you know if you put them in that case, that waterproof case, unless you got it right here, like on your chest, and you're talking loud, you're not hearing it inside that waterproof case. You're not hearing you talk. And that's why I just put mine up on the head and said, okay, it's safe up here. It's not getting wet unless I go overboard. You know, that's why I put that one up on the top of my head. The Panasonic Lumix one sounds pretty good and clear. My GoPro Hero 7, the sound is not really that great either. It's good for an action camera, but compared to my Canon M50, it's not very good. Yeah. A lot of them are that way, though. You notice the GoPros, they'd have one that was hit sound. Everybody'd say, sounds pretty good on this one. Then the next one, they'd say, sound sucked on this one. It was better on the last one, but the other features are better on this one. Yeah. A lot of times you got to go, well, okay, I'm going to get 4K. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get stabilization. I'm going to get all this and waterproof, but the sound's going to suffer a little bit. Okay, I can live with that. You know, it is definitely a trade-off on some things. Yeah. Like that camera that I'm showing you down here. That's not really something you want to climb on your kayak, mount it to the front of the kayak, and have it pointing back at you to shoot footage of you, and then get hit by a big wave as a boat goes by, and there goes your fancy camera, dead. When you could have rocked an action camera that can take a beating. Yep, no more camera. Hee hee. Now this is one toy I've got. Now I actually like this one. This is the there it is. It's the Summon Plus. I've got it turned off right now. That's why you see it dangling down like that. I love this one. I take this one out when I'm shooting RC videos and use this one a lot of times. See, this one has an actual screen on it at the back, and it has a lens cover, and it has, as you can see, 3-axis stabilization. See, this one's good for shooting, but see, it's pretty stable. I use this one a lot when I do RC videos. What I'll do is you got your gimbal here, you got your 4K camera. It all comes together, and it comes up. You got your battery in it right up here. You got your buttons right here, and then I attach this other piece onto it right here, screwed it in here, and then I clamp this onto my RC controller, and I just let it hang, and then I just shoot video as the truck's crawling by me. That one goes all the way up to 4K, but I shoot on 1060. Yeah, this thing it is really stable. I got this on a steal. I caught this online on sale for $99 and got a 4K action camera, a 3-axis gimbal stabilized, and it came with the battery and the charger, and got it for like $99. So, and then all I had to do was go out and buy me a memory card. And since I do all my video work myself and everything, and it comes with, see, as I said, it comes with a decent length cord to charge it up. Well, I need one of those. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. Like I said, it's made by Fayutech. It's Fayutech stuff. The same people that make RCs. Fayu. It's made by them. I've actually got a video where I unboxed it on my channel. And I told everybody I couldn't believe that I got it for $100. I mean, getting a 4K capable camera, action camera, with a 3-axis gimbal for under $100. You kind of can't go wrong with it. The only thing I got to do if I just want to hold it in my hand and shoot video is I just unscrew all this. I just take this off, and then I can just hold this part and shoot video. Wishing I Was Fishing says he has a friend that does his editing. Hey, if you got somebody willing to do the editing for you, ain't no problems there. I have one. I only used it like 3 times, and now I just used the GoPro Hero 7. It works good enough. Yeah, I mean, well, that's like me. If I had the GoPro Hero 5, Hero 6, Hero 7, somewhere along those lines, this wouldn't go out near as much if I had the Hero 6 or Hero 7, because it would be pretty smooth with the Hero 7 anyway, or the Hero 6, that you basically wouldn't need that extra one. Yeah, the Hero 7 really stepped it up with their stabilization. And they say Hero 8 improved on some things that Hero 7 had. But price-wise, I'm probably stuck more in the, down the road, I'm probably stuck more in the Hero 5, the Hero 6 realm. Yeah. If you got the Hero 7, I don't really see upgrading to a Hero 8. That's just my opinion. But now, if you've got like the Hero 3, 4, or 5, then jumping to the 8 might be it. So your buddy just upgraded from the Hero 6 to the Hero 8. I was just going to ask about the 8. They say it's the best of the best right now as far as, stabilization without having to have a gimbal like I just showed. We tested out in the desert on dirt bikes, and it was insane. Yeah, because, I mean, like we talked about earlier, a Casso, not waterproof, but they're getting better and better with their stabilization. As long as you don't like that, they handle it pretty good. But a real quick, they don't handle those quite as good as some of the other ones do. But if you're not worried about getting it, and you're not going to be getting it wet, then it's good. The only thing that sucks about the 7 and the 8, they thermal and auto shutdown. Like how I do for my fishing channel videos. Oh, so basically they're basically overheating and shutting down on you on the 7 and 8. But I take it, so the 5 wouldn't have done that. Yep, the 8 shut down more than my 7 did while we were out. It was only about 85 degrees too. Yeah, it does suck when, you're out there shooting a video and you're not sitting there watching your camera and you look down and it's like, wait a minute, it's off. I don't think the old ones did it. So you don't think the Hero 5 did it? Well, we could ask Wishing I Was Fishing 73. He's got the Hero 5. Has it ever shut down on you being out while you were fishing during the summer because of overheating? 8 shuts down even more. No good. GoPro should have fixed that. Yeah, for what they charge. If it's got a thermal issue, they definitely should have done something about it. No, it doesn't. All right, wishing I was fishing 73 just said the GoPro Hero 5 doesn't shut down even if it's 85, 95 degrees outside. So in other words, it goes until the battery's dead. I think they will do a firmware update that should get it better. The 7 was pretty bad at first as well. They got hot as hell by the lens. You can feel the heat radiating off of it. Wow. My Hero 7 only shuts down if I am filming 4K and charging it at the same time. Now, I have noticed a lot of your cameras, if you're charging them while filming, they seem to want to get hotter. But when it heats up, you can't touch the lens area. Wow. I know I had one of my cameras. I was filming with it one day, and I had a battery bank actually plugged to it because I knew I was going to be shooting for a while. And I reached over and felt the camera. And this camera felt like it was about to burst into flames. I unplugged the battery bank, and about 30 minutes later, the camera had cooled down by about 50%. It was like that battery bank charging it while it's recording was just too much for it. Mine shuts down looping 1080 at 60 frames per second, but that's when you're fishing with it on constantly. Seems like every camera that comes out, there's at least one issue, no matter who makes it. Whether it be the sound, whether it be the stability part of it, image stabilization, whether it's really good or not. There's always one little issue with each camera from whoever makes them. Shin RC, when me and Rich were talking about earlier, we were talking about the Akaso, like the Akaso V50 and some of the other Akaso versions, where they've gone along and they've tried to fix the video stabilization and make it even better. It seems like when they make the stabilization better, the sound quality on that camera is worse, but over here where it's shakier, you get better sound. I wish GoPro made a non-waterproof one so it would have better audio and will run cool. That would be more like well, not stabilized, but that would be more like going back to the GoPro Hero 3 or 4, wouldn't it? Didn't they run a little bit cooler and have a little bit better audio than some of them? But you know, it's each person decides whether they think the audio is good for that one or not. I know some people say all the GoPro's audio suck. Some people say that 5 was better than 4. Yeah, of course, if you run it without stabilization, it should run cooler. You should also get a little bit better battery time. Because you got stabilization on, they say that also uses your battery quicker. But, I mean, unless you're going to mount your camera somewhere you know it's not going to move, Yep, and with 4K stabilized is running the CPU at its max. Yeah. But I would love to see a competitor, somebody. Even if it's somebody like a Casso, somebody like Firefly, somebody come up with a camera that's waterproof without a case, an action cam, that at least has decent audio. Not great, not crappy, but at least decent. I feel it will melt down and burn out. I saw a little bit of video on the Osmos, and you know, you get those GoPro guys who just can't stand anything else but GoPros. And some of those guys said, oh, it ain't worth the crap. And then I heard other people say, it's the next best thing. And Wishing I Was Fishing is asking how much difference between, I think, 1080 and 4K. I'm going to give my opinion because I don't really shoot in 4K. I don't shoot in 2.7. I don't shoot in 4K. I just do 1080 60. In my opinion, your colors and everything are a lot more poof, a lot more pop to them. Your colors are a lot more vivid on 4K than they are 1080. That's my opinion. Now, Rich, Shen RC, y'all can pop in and say what the differences are between 1080 and 4K in your opinions. But in my opinion, it's that color, the way it pops out at you between the 1080 and the 4K. You get a lot more, better color, in my opinion. But like I said, I don't shoot in 4K. I've got a couple of cameras that do 4K, but I don't shoot 4K. I just shoot 1080 at 60. And that's where I'm at right now. So whatever I get, as long as it can do 1080 at 60 and at least 4K at 25 or 30, I'll be happy with those frame rates. I just want something that's waterproof, without a case, and has stabilization. The color and also the difference between light and dark areas. So in other words, if you step back in a shadier, darker area, the 4K one's going to give you a little bit more clear photo. For YouTube, it don't matter. 95% of people watch videos on YouTube on small phones. So a 640 video looks clear and they won't tell if it's 4K. True. I've seen people still uploading videos in 480. A lot of people aren't even using 720. They're uploading in 480 and 640, by 480 and stuff like that. So yeah, you'll be able to see the darker areas better. Yep, most channels only upload to 1080. It seems like that's the common and the norm is the 1080p. But I've gone to channels to watch a RC video and see a guy running, and you go to pull it up and try to get it to go any higher, and it's listing it at like 380 or 480, and I'm going. And the guy's running a brand new RC, an expensive one, and it's only been up on YouTube, say, for a month. And you're like, well, it's not that this is an old video. So either he put all of his money into that RC and had to go cheap filming, or just doesn't care. But I'm gonna at least try to do 1080. But you gotta hate that. Yeah. I mean, it looks so grainy. I'm not trying to be mean, but it looks so grainy and dark. I upload in 4K only because I like to watch them on my TV. Hee hee. Yep, if you upload in 480, then it's like being in 1987. Yeah, especially now. 5-10 years ago when people uploaded in 480, 640, 720, nobody said a thing about it. But now in the 2000s, if you upload in 480 and you're shooting a Traxxas TRX4 Land Rover Defender, with 1987 was a good year. Yeah, it was. But you're shooting a Land Rover Defender that costs you $500 and you're shooting it on a camera that you're only going to upload at 480. And trust me, there's lots of free video editing software out there, so somebody could at least bring it up to 720. Yeah, I look at my old videos and say, man, I wish I had my camera back then. They were all 480. Man, I look back to when I first started, even 5 years ago. My first camera was only capable of 720, and it had an auto mode on there to where if it didn't think it had enough light to shoot in 720, it bumped it down to the 480. I used that camera, probably the first 3 to 4 months of starting my channel. Then I upgraded to at least a Sony Vloggy, Sony Touch, the Vloggy one, the Sony Vloggy. And I put that one on YouTube and started doing 720p videos for about another 6 months to a year. And then I went and stepped up to 1080. My first 1080 camera was 1080 at 30, and that's all it was capable of. And then I slowly jumped up. Now I did have the original. I had the original GoPro Hero, the first edition. The one that could do like 960. That was its top. 960p. I had that one. But normally I would just shoot at 960 and then just upload it in 720 and just let it go. Or just shoot it in 720 and let it go because it gave me longer battery life. But as soon as I got my first camera that would do 1080p 30, the only time I shoot in 720 is if, say, I had a camera that had really, really, really good slow-mo capability in 720. Then I would drop down and shoot in 720. But other than that, it was 1080 all the way. And once I got a camera that could do 1080 60, I never looked back. I look at my old flat track videos and they are so grainy. Hey, hee hee. But back then we thought it was amazing. Yeah, I mean, you can look back 2 or 3 years and go, man, what camera was I using then compared to what you might be shooting with now? And I even had people that watch my channel who grew with my channel in my first few years. They watched my videos. They didn't really say a whole lot bad. They were like, hey, you might want to watch your lighting. Noah Olson, hey, man, welcome. Question for you. If I can't answer it, I'm sure one of these other guys can. But yeah, I had people that wouldn't really complain about my older cameras. They would just say, hey, man, try to get you a little bit more lighting before you shoot your video next time. Try to get you a little bit better lighting when you're outside. Either shoot the video earlier in the day or try not to get in the trees too much. It made it a little bit grainy when I first started out with the 720. But then once I got up to the 1080p, they noticed that my cameras were getting better and that my videos were getting better. Now this one, I'm shooting on a Logitech 1080p webcam. I've got one light on over my head, and then depending on where I've got the computer setting, I can turn that on to add lighting if I feel I need it. But I thought it was just a little too much down here, so I just cut it off so my face would be a little more, natural. Yeah, Canon's a good camera, but most of the time when I go after a camera, Canons are always overpriced at the time, and I can always find a good deal on the Nikon. I didn't say waterproof ones. I'm talking about for just using on a tripod. I've got two different Nikon Coolpix editions. I've got that one I showed you, and then I've got another one with the big zoom at the big red. That's what I call it. Hey, we're making a YouTube live stream compilation video. My friend Noah was harassed on another YouTube live stream, and we're trying to show him support. So could you say justice for Noah against Jan? Well, I think I just said it by reading it. I don't know why people want to, feel like they got to bully people. I mean, I can understand, chat. I love my camera, Canon SL2. He goes with Canon more. Whereas me, like I said, I've got two Nikons. They work great for me, but I probably wouldn't use, like he said. He said Nikons seem to have sucky audio for their waterproof ones. So I might not would pick a Nikon camera as far as one to be waterproof. That's why I had said maybe the action camera like the GoPro Hero 5 is because I've heard it had decent sound. And you definitely know they can handle some punishment. You can smack it with the paddle, it's going to be okay. Bump it with a fishing rod or something like that if it's on the boat. Say the Nikon Coolpix may be better now, the newer models, but when you had one that was horrible, that might be what I have to do if I decide to go with something like a Nikon Coolpix or thinking about going with one. I may go watch some videos of the newer ones and see what people may have said about the sound on them, the waterproof ones. But realistically, a GoPro Hero, whether it be 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that would be better to have mounted here on the hat because, it mounts better. An action camera, if you're going to mount it on your head, it needs to be an action cam. If you're going to mount it right here on the chest, it needs to be the action cam. But if you're going to mount it on your kayak, then yeah, you could go with something like a Nikon Coolpix waterproof version. Test it out first. Audio on most of those big name waterproof cameras. The tough ones, the sound is not the best. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'd have to be sure that I was going to be able to hear, whatever I was saying. Because if you got it all the way, if you're in a 10-foot kayak and you've got it all the way at the nose of the kayak, say pointing back at you, then your voice is not going to carry well enough to probably hear it on the camera when you go to upload it, and people are going to be like, man, I couldn't hear you out there today. Couldn't hear you on the water. Yeah. But if you put it, of course, if you got it closer to you, mounted somewhere and pointing up at you, you got it 3 feet away, you're going to hear it, easier. Yeah. That's another option for some cameras too, is a shotgun mic or some other type mic. Nobody's Judge 74. What if the audio has a 6? Not sure on that one. See if Rich knows, or they pick it up, but they sound tiny and crappy. Hey, it's okay. I fish near a waterfall. Is there a way to get the audio clear? My Panasonic waterproof one sounds pretty darn good. Now this I'm asking the guys that know on here. Does the GoPro Hero 5 have an external mic place for you to hook up an external mic? You can use a mic, maybe clip it to your shirt. Yeah, I was asking for Wishing I Was Fishing 73 because he says he fishes near a waterfall. Is there a way to get the audio clear? Shin RC saying you can use a mic, maybe clip it to your shirt. What do you want clear audio for? GoPro Hero 5 is a no-go. I'd say add the audio later as sound effects. Yeah, but when you're talking to people when you're out fishing and you're telling them what you're doing, like, hey, I'm fixing to try this new rooster tail I've got, or I got to try this out. That's not really time for sound effects. That's when you actually want audio to work. Put one of those windbreaker covers on it also. I use a Rode mic on my GoPro and my M50. Now, the thing I had heard is GoPro Hero. Now, this is just what I heard from some people. I don't use a mic when I go fishing with my Hero 7. It works pretty good. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I hear you fine when you do your fishing video out on that blow-up boat. I heard you fine on that inflatable boat. Just like when I'm sitting there on my kayak, I've got it clamped right here to my head. As long as that wind's not hitting 10, 15, 20 miles an hour, you're going to hear me fine because the camera's sitting right here. So you're going to hear me fine. So a GoPro Hero 5 would probably be good enough. A GoPro Hero 6, 7 would definitely be. Now, I heard a few people say that the Hero 6 has better sound than the Hero 5 or 7. But since I don't have the GoPro Hero 5, 6, or 7, I said that's what I've heard from some people I've watched who reviewed them. They said the Hero 5 was better than the Hero 4 as far as sound, but the Hero 6 was better than the 5. But then I heard Hero 7, the sound was worse than 6. Yep, Shin, I use my Hero 7 without a mic for a lot of my RC videos because I tend to put music over anyhow. Budget guy, they make sponge cases that cover your action cams to stop wind noise. I've never used anything like that because generally, if I'm going to be out on the lake throwing lures, I'm generally not going to be out there in heavy winds anyway. So I guess that's one reason I ain't really worried about it yet. Now it would have came in handy, but it wouldn't have worked on this. I don't know if they would necessarily fit this action camera, but I could have used one on it when I was shooting the video on the rocks. When I had that Polaris Razor clone, when I had that up on the rocks, could have used something to muffle the wind noise. The Hero 8 and 7 sound best without mics out of all the GoPros. Well, I definitely want to at least make it up to the GoPro Hero 5. Like I said, all I've got is the GoPro Hero 1, the original, the first. You know, as far as GoPros go. I would at least like to make it up to the GoPro Hero 5 or the GoPro Hero 6, at least that far. That way I feel when I'm out there and it's on my hat, hey, if I get splashed with water, I ain't got to worry about it getting fried. you know. And I know it's going to shoot good video. I know it's going to be stable. I mean, now I know the Hero 5 doesn't have near the stability that the 7 and 8 have on them. Even 6, they improved the stability over the 5 model. But you got to start somewhere, and it may be the Hero 5. Unless somebody else sneaks in a camera between now and the new year that's actually waterproof, action camera wise. But all the GoPros are nice. You just have to plug in a mic. But the Hero 7, you have to buy this big bulky adapter that's almost the size of the cam. Wow. I thought about the now Shin, you could probably answer this one real good. I thought about the actual Firefly 8 SE, the newest version of the 8. I think it's the 8 SE. I heard the Firefly 8 SE can actually do 4K now. It's not that interpolated. You know, it ain't nothing like that. It's just, it can do 4K, it can do 1080, it can do all that. And it's gyro, and they upgraded the gyro, made it better. And they send it out with an external mic, what I heard. That gives it good audio. The only thing is, if you want it waterproof in the case, you still got to put it. I had the 7S. I think the 6S had better sound. That's what gets me. They change them, and while they make one thing better, they always seem to knock one thing worse. The 8S guys tested sounds worse than the 6S. Maybe that's why they send you the free external mic with it to make up for that. I don't know. I had to say that. Maybe that's it. Hey man, let's send them this free external mic so they don't realize how crappy the audio is on it without a mic. I don't know. But that's what I was telling Rich earlier. It seems like they make one thing better on the camera, and then they make one or two things worse. If they get the stabilization right, then the sound sucks. I heard they made the 8S, and then I heard they made another version of the 8S with something else added to it. But don't quote me on that. That's just something I heard. Yeah. It always seems like they can never get it all fixed at once. Yeah. I mean, the Akaso you talked about, the color palette seems pretty good on them. And to be real on them though, the 4K and the 1080p doesn't look drastically different on the different versions of the Akaso to me, but I don't really care about the 4K. But the stabilization seemed to get better on the newer models of the Akaso. But it seemed like every time they made the stabilization better, the sound went worse. And like Rich said, you still got to put that Akaso in a waterproof case. But realistically, at least it's not as much to lose. You can go out and buy an Akaso with video stabilization that can shoot 4K for around $50-$60. So if it's not the perfect camera, I mean, you're not as upset with it being not as perfect because it's only $50, $60, $70. So I thought about actually investing in one of those until I could get me a Hero 5 or a Hero 6. Yeah, waterproof case kills any audio unless you got it like holding it right here and you're talking right at the side of the case. Search 8S versus the new 8S on YouTube, see what they say. Yeah, I am going to do that because, like I said, as long as it doesn't go in the water, my 6S has been a good camera. My Firefly 6S. And if I could get one that's, got better battery life, say, and comes with an external mic that I could clip right here on my shirt. I had never tried one, any of theirs. But if you're out on a boat and you want people to hear the audio, and you're sitting there going, well, I got to get a waterproof camera because I'm on a boat. But then when you go to upload the audio, nobody can hear what you're saying. Yeah. And if you're trying to tell somebody something, like say if you're doing a tutorial while you're out there fishing, they never heard any of it because you went waterproof. Yeah. But you could sacrifice the waterproof, get better sound, but then your luck is you fall in the water and your camera's history. Yeah. You get one of those. And everybody's going, man, what was wrong with your audio? I couldn't make out a thing you said. And you go, man, I'm sorry. I went with a waterproof camera this time and the audio sucked on it. I guess I'm going to have to just put one on my head that's not waterproof and hope I don't fall out of the boat. But I've seen people shooting videos with the cameras underwater and actually getting the sound as the truck's going by, the sound of the motor of the truck and everything going through the water. And I'm like, it would just be nice to have a camera that you could just sit down in the water and get that. I can't stand changing all the batteries on the boat. I use the USB cable. True, if you out there and you're going to be out there for a while, who wants to change out 1, 2, 3 batteries if you can just hook up a power bank to it and record? Some cameras will let you do that, and some cameras won't let you record when they're charging. But yeah, I definitely got some good ideas. I'm definitely going to look into maybe a power bank down the road and wear a shirt that's got a pocket. That way, if I got something on my hat, I can just have the cord running down. That way, you can still see whatever view ahead of me and whatever I'm looking at. Or I'm going to do like Steve said, order that chest mount set up so that way when I'm on the boat. But see, how hard is it to fit that chest mount on when you're wearing a life jacket? I was worried that I couldn't get the chest mount to fit with a life vest. I bought the big wraparound battery that was supposed to last 9 hours. How long does it end up lasting? You bought the big wraparound battery that was supposed to last 9 hours, is what Wishing I Was Fishing 73 said. How long does it actually last? Yep, Shan. I have a Wasabi power grip that I use all the time. Charges and works as a tripod and handle. It's easy. It has stretch, straps, and adjustable clasp. So you saying I could get me one 2.5 hours if you're lucky? Yeah, that 9 hours just didn't end up being true, did it? Just a little bit misleading, huh? Just a little bit. It's easy. It has stretch, straps, and adjustable clasp. So you're saying I should be able to put one of those chest harnesses on over top of my life vest? Yeah, If you tell me I'm going to get 9 hours of battery life by buying this particular battery style and I only get 2.5, yeah, I'd be a little peed off thinking I was getting ripped off for sure. Yep. Well, I definitely going to have to look into that because it would be right here and I could have it sitting right here on my chest. That way people can still see what's in front of me and what I'm working. When I'm putting tying on the lure with my hands, they could see it because it'd be right here. The volume would definitely be good. Now the only problem is if it's not a waterproof camera, I got to hope I don't go overboard. Now, waterproof, it wouldn't be a problem because it would still be here and it would still be on me as I come back up. But not waterproof, unless I get out of the water really quick and bring it home and throw it in a bowl of rice, I'm in trouble. I think that camera's history if I fall in the water with it, no matter, whether it's on my head or whether it's on my chest. Unless I buy a waterproof one. But yeah, I hate it when companies are that misleading. You tell somebody, oh, you get 9 hours of battery life. But what you don't tell them is you got to put it down to the lowest frame rate and all the way down here at the lowest other things. Every setting's got to be the lowest. Oh, yeah, and if you turn off stabilization, that'll get you an extra 30 minutes. Or if you turn off this, that'll get you. You got to take the camera down to basically where it's crap to get that 9 hours that they're claiming. You can't do 1080 at 60. Yeah, in crap mode. Yeah. You got to shoot in crap mode to get 9 hours. Or you got to shoot in crap mode to when they say, oh, this camera will do 5 hours worth of shooting. Well, they don't tell you that you got to shoot at the lowest setting and that you can't do but 30 frames. You can't do no 60 frames. You can't hit 1080. You can't hit 2.7K. You can't do 4K. There you go, Rich. Yep, it'll work for 9 hours. 360 at 10 frames per second. Yeah, I mean, don't sell me something and tell me it can do 9 hours if it's going to be on a crappy setting. Because who's going to use that setting? How many people are going to upload a video that do YouTube at 360, 10 frames per second? Not that many. I mean, if you tell me that it'll do an hour and a half of 1080p, well, then I know that's either going to be at 30 or 60. That new fancy stabilization sucks all the power right out of your batteries fast as hell. Yep. I got a 4K camera because I want to film in 4K. But if I can only film for 5 minutes in 4K, then it's kind of useless. Yeah, you got to walk around with a power bank, a battery bank, to be able to shoot at 4K for more than 5 minutes. Otherwise, you might as well drop down to 2.7 or just drop down and do the 1080 at one of their frame rates. Now, I know a lot of people shoot at slow-mo 1080 at like 120. I know that's probably killing the battery. Yep, that's how you do it. Yeah, you carry a battery bank so you can get more than 5 minutes of 4K, or so you can get more than 30 minutes at 1080, 60 or whatever. I'll carry 40 batteries. Okay, this one's dead. Let me lay this one over here. Okay, this one's dead. This is my dead pile. This is my good pile. Film a whole bunch of 5-minute clips and then edit it all together. Yep. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you don't have a choice. But I want close to honest. That's what I want. I want to go get a camera that says it can film an hour and a half is the battery life, and you go out there and you do 1080 at 60 and you get at least an hour. If you tell me I'm getting an hour and a half on this camera and I can go out there and do an hour on 1080 at 60 frames, then I'll say, okay, that means that one of the lower ones I could get that hour and a half. As long as I can get an hour out of 1080 60, I'm thrilled. I carry 3 extra batteries with me. Dead batteries go in my right pocket. Good batteries stay on my left. You the same way. Both of you do the right pockets for the dead ones and the left pockets for the charged ones. Shin and wishing I was fishing. I filmed RC for 2 hours and then spent 5 hours editing to get a 10-minute video. Yeah, it's like going out, filming for an hour, and coming back and editing it down to a 5-minute video. And where I live now, my biggest issue is the upload speed. I go out and shoot a video, maybe shoot a 30-minute video. I come down home, edit it down to 5 to 7 minutes, go to upload it on YouTube, and it tells me it's going to take an hour and a half. And I'm like, oh, my Lord. But yeah, the editing can be a pain. Well, everybody, I had a blast hosting this tonight and doing this. I was just talking to someone about a video I released that was unused footage, and it was a 10-minute video. The original was 16 minutes. I have 3 batteries for my Hero 7. I use them when I do my RC videos, but use my power bank when I'm fishing. Yeah, makes a little more sense because if you're sitting down with it in your pocket, you ain't got to worry about it when you're fishing. But if you're RCing, you're moving around to flip the RC back over or whatever, could be a little bit more cumbersome for using it for RCing. Well, guys, I definitely enjoyed having you all here. I definitely enjoyed talking to you, y'all. We talked a little bit about RC. We definitely talked about cameras we like, cameras we think need to be better, and cameras we all use, like or dislike. And we talked about some fishing stuff. I'm going to get ready and call it a night. I hope everybody has a great night. For those of us at RC, have fun RCing. Oh, you're naming your new kayak the SS Pickerel Hunter? I hear you. I'm thinking about calling mine the Green Machine. With that neon green, hey. The Green Machine, why not? That's what I'm thinking about calling my kayak. Y'all have a great one. Peace. Have fun RCing. Have fun fishing. Whatever you're doing, have fun at it. Later, guys. And everybody, have a great night. See y'all next Tuesday. No bad luck. But you got RC. Peace. We out.